That you? You out there?
Atticus.
Come in and wash before your father gets home.
In a minute, Calpurnia. Always orders me around.
You hear me, Scout?
I have to talk to Atticus. Hey, Miss Marty.
Scout!
I'm talking to Miss Marty.
Do you smell my mimosa? It's like angel's breath.
Yes'm.
And do you hear those birds? Do you hear the mockingbirds?
Yes'm. When Atticus gave Jimmy air rifles, he asked never shoot mockingbirds.
And he's right. Mockingbirds just make music. They don't eat up people's gardens, don't nest in people's corn cribs. They just sing their hearts out. That's why it's a sin to kill a mockingbird.
Miss Marty, this is an old neighborhood, ain't it?
Yeah, it's been here longer than the town.
No, I mean the folks on the street are all old. Jimmy's the only children. Mrs. Bo's close on 100. Miss Daphne's old, and so are you. And Atticus, he's ancient.
Not being wheeled around yet. Neither is your father.
He's nearly 50. Jim asked him why so old, and he said, got started late.
Well, you're lucky. You have the benefit of your father's age. If Atticus was 30, you'd find life quite different.
I sure would. Atticus can't do anything.
What do you want him to do?
Drive a dump truck for the county, run for sheriff, farm, or work in a garage, or something else worth mentioning. Other fathers go hunting, play poker, like fish.
Seems to me you'd be proud of him.
Why? He works in lofts and he reads.
Hey, Scout!
The way some folks starting to go on, you'd think he was running a stale.
Scout, how come your daddy defends niggers?
I know it's you, Walter Cunningham. Keep this up and I'll give you another whipping.
Scout's daddy defends niggers.
You gonna take that back, boy?
You gonna make me? My folks say niggers ought to hang from the water tank.
I'll never speak to you again as long as I live. I hate you and despise you and hope you die tomorrow.
Everyone says your daddy's a disgrace.
Come back, you coward!
Everyone!
Coward!
Scout, I told you to come in and wash before your father gets home.
And I told you in a minute.
Your brother's already washed. Why can't you just behave as well as Jim?
'Cause he's older than me and you know it. Ow! The water's too hot.
Keep scrubbing.
Even in 1935, Macomb, Alabama was an old town, a tired old town. In the rainy weather, the streets turn to red slop, the grass grows on the sidewalks, the courthouse sags in the square. There's no hurry because there's nowhere to go, nothing to buy and no money to buy it with. Macomb County had recently been told that it had nothing to fear but fear itself.
Lack of money is no excuse for the Radleys to let their place go like this. The least they could do is cut the Johnson grass and rabbit tobacco. But of course, they're Radleys.
According to Miss Stephanie, everybody in Macomb has a streak. A drinking streak, a gambling streak, a mean streak, a funny streak.
They certainly do. No Atkinson minds their own business. Every third Merriweather is morbid. All the Bufords walk like that. The truth is not in the Delafields. And if Miss Grace sips gin out of Lydia Pinkham bottles, it's nothing unusual. Her mother did the same thing. As for the Radleys...
Afternoon, ladies.
Judge Taylor, Sheriff.
Atticus, you home?
Not yet, Mr. Tate. Afternoon, Judge Taylor.
Cal, tell him we were passing by.
You want him to call?
That's all right. We'll be seeing him anyway.
Change to a clean blouse.
As for the Radleys,
Do you think Boo Radley's still alive?
His name is Arthur, and he's still alive.
How do you know?
What a morbid question. I know because I haven't seen him carried out yet.
Jim says maybe he died and they stuffed him up the chimney.
He just stays in the house, that's all. Wouldn't you stay in the house if you didn't want to come out?
But I want to come out.
when that boy was in his teens, he took up with some bad ones from Old Sarum, probably drinking stump hole whiskey. They were arrested on charges of disorderly conduct, disturbing the peace, and using abusive and profane language in the presence and hearing of a female. Boo Radley was released to his father, who kept him in that house, and he wasn't seen again for 15 years.
Now she'll tell you what happened 15 years later.
Boo Radley was sitting in his living room, cutting some items from the Macon Tribune to post in his scrapbook. And as his father passed by, Boo took the scissors, drove them into his parents' leg, pulled them out, wiped them on his pants, and resumed his activities. Boo was then 33. Now, Mr. Radley said no Radley was going to any insane asylum, so he shut him up in that house. Well, he is to this day, or Miss Maudie would have seen him carried out.
All my life, I've never seen him.
I saw him once. It was storming, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and there was Boo Radley, his face like a skull, staring in the window, looking at me in my bed.
What did you do?
She scared him away.
How?
Well, she moved over in her bed to make room for him.
You have a streak, Miss Maudie. A streak I could not properly describe in front of a young lady.
She's right. Good afternoon, Mrs. DeBose. Do you smell my mimosa? Angel's breath.
Hey, Scout!
Jim Finch must be playing in the Rose Bowl, scoring a touchdown.
Where are you going this time of day, Jeremy Finch? Playing hooky, I suppose. I'll just call up the principal and tell him.
Oh, it's Saturday, Mrs. DeBose.
I wonder if your father knows where you are.
Of course he does.
Miss Marty tells me you broke down her scuppernong arbor this morning. She's gonna tell your father, and then you wish you'd never seen the light of day.
I haven't been near her scuppernong arbor.
Don't you contradict me! If you aren't sent to reform school before next week, my name's not DuBose.
Why is she so mean?
Reverend Sykes, please, you must confine your choir to the colored church.
Excuse me, Mr. Bose. We're making a special visit to our parishioners. Miss Cal.
Afternoon, Reverend Sykes.
It's about Brother Tom's troubles. We have to do more for his family. More.
Yes, Reverend.
These are dark days. Days filled with trials and tribulations.
Yes, Reverend.
That's why the next 3 collections shall go to his wife and kids.
Yes.
Tell everyone to bring as much as they can. Everyone.
Why are you taking up a collection for Tom Robinson's wife?
Truth be told, Helen's finding it hard to get work these days.
I know Tom Robinson's done something awful, but why won't folks hire Helen?
Well, people aren't anxious to have anything to do with his family.
Yes, Paul.
Told you to stay out of town right now, you hear?
I hear.
Bob Ewell and his daughter Mayella. Good times or bad, they live off the county in a cabin near the garbage dump by a small Negro settlement. All that Bob Ewell can hold on to that makes him feel better about himself than his nearest neighbors is that if scrubbed with lye soap and very hot water, his skin is white.
Why'd you stop talking? Those are just Ewells.
I'm not surprised they stopped talking.
Well, I must be on my way. Goodbye, Miss Jean Louise.
Call me Scout.
See you Sunday, Miss Cal.
We'll bring all we can.
Bye. What did Tom Robinson do?
You mean what did they say he did? Well, old Mr. Bob Ewell accused Tom of raping his girl and had him arrested and put in jail.
But everyone in Macon knows what kind of folks the Ewells are. Jim, what's rape?
Ask Cal.
I think you'd better ask your father. We'll be eating soon.
I'd just like to know. Hey!
Hey yourself, I'm Charles Baker Harris. I can read.
So what?
I just thought you'd like to know. My folks call me Dill. I'm staying with my Aunt Rachel.
You're sort of puny.
I'm little, but I'm old.
How old's your father?
I haven't got one.
Is he dead?
No?
Then if he's not dead, you've got one, haven't you?
Never mind her, Dill.
If his father isn't dead, how can he say
Scout! The Radley place!
Nathan Radley?
How'd it do, Mr. Nathan?
Boo Radley's older brother. Boo Radley's in there all by himself, and it hasn't come out in 30 years.
30 years?
When old Mr. Radley died, some folks thought Boo'd have to come out, but Nathan moved in and took his father's place.
Wonder what he does. Looks like he'd stick his head out the door sometime.
I think he comes out when it's pitch dark. Azaleas wilt 'cause he breathes on them. Nobody touches a pecan that falls off the Radley pecan tree. It'll kill you. I've seen his tracks in our backyard many a morning, and one night I heard him scratching on the back screen.
Wonder what he looks like.
Judging from his tracks, he's about 6.5 feet tall, eats raw squirrels and any cats he can catch. What teeth he has are yellow and rotten. His eyes pop, and most of the time he drools.
Let's make him come out.
Make Boo Radley come out?
If you want to get yourself killed, all you have to do is go up, knock on that door.
You're scared. Too scared to put your big toe in the front yard.
I ain't scared. Just respectful.
I dare you.
You dare me?
Don't go near Jim. If you get killed, what, with Atticus so old, what would become of me?
Well,
Don't hurry me.
Scout me's right behind you. Someone's at the window. Look at the curtains.
He was watching. He saw me.
Don't ever do that.
Where'd you get the chewing gum?
It was sticking in the knot hole.
In that tree? Spit it out, right now.
I was just getting the flavor.
Suppose Boo Radley put it there. Suppose it's poison. You go gargle.
Take the taste out of my mouth.
Let's throw a pebble at the front door, and as soon as he sticks his head out, we'll say we'll want to buy him an ice cream. That'll seem friendly. Maybe you feel better.
How do you know I don't feel good now?
How'd you feel if you've been shut up for 100 years with nothing but cats to eat? Of course, if you'd rather I throw the
Better
pebble.
leave it to me.
You're not gonna throw a stone at the Radley house.
I guess I just have to show you.
Jim,
Atticus!
just what were you about to do, Jim?
Nothing, sir.
I don't want any of that. Tell me.
I was gonna throw a pebble to get Boo Radley to come out.
Why?
Because, sir, I'm Charles Baker Harris. My folks call me Dill. I'm staying with my Aunt Rachel. We thought Mr. Radley might enjoy us.
I see. Son, I'm going to tell you something, and tell you this one time. Don't bother that man.
But why doesn't he ever...
What Mr. Radley does is his own business. If he wants to stay inside his own home, he has every right to stay inside, free from the attention of inquisitive children. How would you like it if I barged into your rooms at night without knocking?
That's different,
Is it?
because we're not crazy.
What Mr. Radley does may seem peculiar to us. It does not seem peculiar to him.
Anyone who stays inside all the
But
time
that's his decision. There's something I'd like to ask. And if you'll do it, you'll get along better with all kinds. See, never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view,
Sir,
until you climb into his skin and walk around in it.
You want us to consider things from Boo Radley's point of view?
He means everyone.
You stay out of this.
Mr. Harris is right, but I expect I'm asking too much. There's Cunningham.
I've got a much better plan. See ya.
Afternoon. Regardless of any plans, you'll just stay away from that house unless invited.
Here you are, Mr. Finch. Turnip greens.
Thank you very much.
I sure would like to pay the cash between the mortgage and the entailment.
This is just fine. Jim, please take this into account. I'd say your bill is settled.
Well, you sure have done a lot.
Well, let's see. You left a load of stove wood in the backyard, and then there was a sack of hickory nuts. At Christmas time, there was a crate of smilax and holly, and now a bag of turnip greens. I'm more than paid.
Well, if you say so, Mr. Finch.
Your boy's in my class of school, Mr. Cunningham. We had a disagreement the other day.
I had mighty few with that boy myself, little lady.
Didn't actually beat him up bad.
Well, if that boy can't take a beating from a little girl like you, I guess he's just gonna have to deal with it. Much obliged, Mr. Finch.
Anytime I can be of help.
Why does he pay with stove wood and turnip greens?
Because that's the only way you can.
Are we poor, Atticus?
We are indeed.
As poor as the Cunninghams?
Not exactly. The Cunninghams are country folk, and the depression hits them the hardest. What was your trouble with my client's boy?
He said some things I didn't like. I rubbed his nose in the dirt.
That's not very ladylike. What'd he say?
Things. And I think we should have a talk. I've been waiting for you to get home because...
Atticus, catch!
Hang on to it, son. Not today.
Atticus, will you be coming out for the Methodists for the football game?
What game?
It won't be till fall, but everybody's already talking about it. The Methodists challenged the Baptists to a game of touch football.
Afraid I wouldn't be much help, Jim.
Everybody's father is playing.
Except yours.
Every other father.
I'd break my neck.
It's touch.
I'm too old for such things.
Sir, would you have time to show Scout and me how to shoot our air rifles? Later, I mean.
I've told you. You'll have to wait for your Uncle Jack. He'll really show you.
Couldn't you show us?
I'm not interested in guns.
You're not interested in anything.
I think you better go get your football.
Atticus, tell me, what's rape?
Well, rape is carnal knowledge of a female by force.
That's all. Rod Calpurnia dry up when I asked her. Atticus, do you defend niggers?
Of course I do, Scout. And don't say nigger. That's common.
It's what everybody at school says.
Well, from now on, it'll be everybody less one.
Do all laws defend Negroes?
They do.
Then why do the kids at school make it sound like you're doing something awful?
There's just some things you're not old enough to understand yet, Scout. But there's been some high talk around town saying I shouldn't do much about defending Tom Robinson. But I'm going to defend that man.
If they say you shouldn't, why are you doing it?
Well, the main reason, if I didn't defend him, I couldn't have much respect for myself now, could I? I couldn't ask you or Jim to do something for me again.
You mean we wouldn't have to mind you anymore?
That's about right.
Why?
Because I could never ask you to mind me again. To tell the truth, I hope to get through life without a case of this kind. But Judge Taylor pointed at me and said, "You're it."
Are we gonna win it?
No, Scout. Come here, honey.
Then why are we doing it?
Simply because we were licked 100 years before we began is no reason not to try to win.
You sound like some old Confederate veteran.
Except we won't be fighting Yankees. We'll be fighting our friends. But remember this, no matter how bitter things get, they're still our friends, and this is still our home.
Is there something you want me to do, Atticus?
Yes. Just keep your head high and those fists down. And I hope you can get through what's coming without catching Maycomb's usual disease. Why reasonable people go stark raving mad when anything involving a Negro comes up is something I can't pretend to understand.
Tom Rollins' case must be pretty important.
It's about right and wrong.
Suppose you're wrong about it.
How's that?
Most people think they're right and you're wrong.
They're entitled to that, and they're entitled to full respect for their opinions. But you know, there's one thing that doesn't abide by majority opinion, honey. And that's your conscience.
Jim, I was talking with Atticus about the Tom Robinson case.
Dinner ready yet?
Yes, what Atticus said. Why do folks slow down as they go past?
Miss Jean Louise,
Yes, Miss Marty.
thought I heard Calpurnia call you for dinner.
But that's ugly.
Come on, Scout.
Guess the Tom Robinson case isn't as new to you as it is to me.
I guess not. Tension in the town about the upcoming trial beginning to get drum tight, and talk beginning to get ugly. A few weeks later, something happened that made Atticus even more of a puzzle, but it had nothing to do with the trial. It had to do with a liver-colored bird dog named Tim.
But why do I have to come home?
Because I say so. That old dog down yonder is sick. Cal, can you come out here for a minute?
It's just old Tim, and he's gone lopsided, that's all.
What is it, Jim? I can't come out every time you want me.
That old dog down yonder is sick.
I can't wrap up any dog's foot right now.
He's sick, Cal. Something's wrong with him.
What, trying to catch his tail?
No, he's doing like this.
You telling me a story, Jim Finch?
No, Cal, and he's coming this way.
You two get inside. Operator, hello. Miss Eula May. Ma'am, please give me Mr. Finch's office right away.
You started something.
Mr. Finch, this is Cal. There's a mad dog coming down the street, and Jim says he's coming this way. Yes, sir. Yes.
What's Atticus say?
In a minute. Miss Eula May, I'm through talking with Mr. Finch. Listen, can you call Miss Crawford and who's ever got a phone down the street and tell them a mad dog's coming? Please, ma'am, hurry.
What about the Radleys? They got a phone?
You two get inside. That's old Tim gone mad, all right.
He's coming now, Mr. Radley.
Get inside.
You always pick on me.
You stay back. Mr. Nathan, Mr. Boo, mad dog's coming. Mad dog's coming. Hear me? Mad dog's coming. Don't come outside. Mad dog.
She's supposed to go round and back.
Don't matter this time. There he is, Cal. I see him. Old Tim's walking like his right legs are shorter than his left legs.
He brought the sheriff. Why did he do that?
Somebody has to stop old Tim.
Stay on the porch, son.
Back behind Miss Marty's house.
Not running, is he, Cal?
No, he's in the twitching stage, Mr. Heck.
Usually they go in a straight line, but you never can tell.
The slope will probably bring him back onto the road.
I thought mad dogs foamed at the mouth and jumped to your throat.
Hush.
There he is.
He just looks sick.
He's got it right, Mr. Finch.
Is he looking for a place to die, Mr. Heck?
Far from dead, Jim. He hasn't got started yet.
He's in range, Heck. Better get him before he goes down another side road. Lord knows who's around the corner. Cal?
You two get inside.
I want to watch the sheriff.
I don't go in till he goes in.
You take it, Mr. Finch. You do it.
Don't waste time.
Mr. Finch, this is a one-shot job.
Don't just stand there, Heck.
Look where he is. For goodness sakes, I can't make the shot and you know it.
I haven't shot a gun in 30 years.
I feel mighty comfortable if you did now.
What's he gonna do with the rifle?
Sweet Jesus, help us.
Got him! You got him!
Yes, but I think I was a little to the right. If I had my druthers, I'd take a shotgun.
Dead as a doornail, just a little to the right.
Always was.
I'll have someone come by with a pickup and take him away.
Stay on the porch.
You still got it, Mr. Finch. They say it never leaves you.
Atticus?
What is it, Jim?
I didn't know.
I saw that one-shot, Finch.
Jim, you and your sister stay where you are. That dog's just as dangerous dead as alive.
Yes, sir. Atticus?
What, son?
What's the matter, boy? Can't you speak? Didn't you know your dad is dead as shot?
Hush, Heck. You better get back to town.
Oh, what's your hurry? Got to practice your speeches for the trial?
To somebody to give to the...
Maybe old Tim wasn't really mad. Maybe he was just full of fleas. And Atticus shot him dead.
If that Tim was still coming up the road, maybe you'd be singing a different tune.
Maybe I would. I will admit, I did feel safer when I saw Atticus take the rifle.
Well now, Miss Scout. Still ashamed of your father? Still think he can't do anything?
No, ma'am.
Forgot to mention the other day that he's the deadest shot in Macomb County.
Dead shot.
When your father was a boy, his nickname was Old One Shot. Something for you to think about, Jim Finch.
But he never said anything about it.
Wonder why I never goes hunting now.
If your father's anything, he's civilized. Marksmanship like that is a gift from God. I think maybe he put the gun down when he realized God had given him an unfair advantage.
Looks to me he'd be proud of it.
People like your father never really bother about pride in their gifts.
Will I have something to tell him at school on Monday?
Don't know if we should say anything about it.
I'd like to find out Walter Cunningham boy right now. Ain't everybody's dad the deadest shot in Macomb County.
We don't have to talk about it any more than Atticus does. And I don't care if he's 100 years old.
Hey, Mrs. Bowles, did you see my father take that shot?
Don't you say hey to me, you ugly little girl. You say, good afternoon, Mrs. Dubose. You should be in a dressing camisole, young lady. If someone doesn't change your ways, you're gonna grow up waiting on tables. A Finch waiting on tables at the OK Cafe. Ha!
What's the matter with her? Why is she so hateful?
Don't pay any attention to her. Hold your head high. Be a gentleman.
A lovelier lady than your mother never lived. It's shocking the way Atticus Finch lets her children run wild.
I'm with you.
We'll keep walking.
Not only a Finch waiting on tables, but one in the courthouse. Lawn for niggers.
Let's keep going, Jim.
What's the world come to with the Finches going against their raisin? Your father's no better than the trash he works for. He's a nigger lover.
Oh, I'll fix her.
Hold your head high, Jim, and...
She has no right!
Jim!
Just because Atticus! I'm sick and tired! Everybody!
Jim, come back!
Go home, Scout! You stay out of this!
Jim!
Hey, Scout.
Jim's out of control! He's gone mad! He's knocking off the tops of every camellia bush Mrs. Bose owns.
Thought Jim had a slow fuse.
Not anymore. He's gone crazy.
From people saying things about your father?
Yes, Mrs. Bose. How'd you know? We found out something about Atticus today, something special.
About time.
He's the deadest shot in Macomb.
That's what you found out?
It's the truth, so it doesn't matter what folks say.
Wouldn't matter anyway.
What are you doing here? I thought you had been taken back to stay with your folks in Meridian.
I was.
And how in the Sam Hill?
It's, you see...
You're all mussed and dusty.
Of course I am. I have a new father, and he doesn't like me. So he had me bound in chains and left to die in the basement. But I was secretly kept alive on raw beans by a passing farmer who heard my cries for help.
If you were chained up in the basement...
The good man poked a bushel of beans to me, paw by paw, through the ventilator.
Lucky for you, that good man was passing.
I worked myself free, pulling the chains from the wall. Then I wandered out the Meridian, where I discovered a small animal show, and they hired me to wash the camel.
How do you go about washing a...
Suddenly my sense of direction told me I was just across the river from Macomb. What I did then...
How did you get here, Dill?
I took $13 from my mother's purse and caught the 9 o'clock train from Meridian.
Why'd you run off?
Didn't run off. Decided I'd stay here, that's all.
You want to stay with your Aunt Rachel?
I want to stay here.
With us?
We're gonna have a hot summer.
I don't care.
Maybe you'd better come back later.
I'm not going.
Look at this, Atticus. We have a visitor. Here's Dill. Come back from Meridian.
Sir?
Dill. Jim, I got a phone call a few minutes ago. Are you responsible for the damages to these flowers?
Yes, sir.
Why'd you do it?
Because Mrs. DeVoe said you lied for niggers.
And that's why you destroyed her garden? I see. Son, I've no doubt you've been annoyed by your contemporaries about me lawing for niggers, as you say. But to do something like this to a sick old lady is inexcusable. I strongly advise you go have a talk with Mrs. DeBose.
Talk to her?
Right now.
But...
Go on.
But, sir...
No, Scout.
Okay. I'll go talk to her.
Come straight home afterwards.
All he was doing was standing up for you.
Never thought Jim would be the one to lose his head. Thought I'd have more trouble with you.
Why do we have to keep our heads anyway? Nobody at school has to keep their head about anything.
You'll soon have to keep your head about far worse things. Your Aunt Rachel never said you were coming back.
She doesn't know.
Please don't tell her I'm here.
Don't tell her.
He's run away.
Please don't make me go back, sir.
Let me just get this straight.
If you make me go back, I'll run away again.
Whoa, son.
He's been living on raw beans.
Scout?
Tell you what, let me do some telephoning. I'll ask if you can stay the night. Maybe stay a few days.
Would you, sir?
Maybe Scout can get you to something with those raw beans.
Oh, I'm fine. Not hungry at all.
I think you'd be starving. Was your father really hateful like you said?
That wasn't it. He just wasn't interested in me.
You're not telling me right. Your folks couldn't do without you.
Yes, they can. They get on a lot better without me. Most of the time they're gone, but when they're home, they're always out by themselves. I can't help them anyway. They're not mean. They buy me everything I want, but then it's, no, you've got it, go play with it.
They must need you. Why, Atticus couldn't get along today without my help and advice.
The special thing about your father isn't that he's a dad child.
He made Jim go over to Mrs. DeBose.
Don't you see why he did that?
'Cause it's his way.
And Jim will be all right. If I could stay a few days, I have a new plan for bringing out Boo Radley.
Want to see what else I found in that hole of that tree? 2 Indian head pennies all slicked up.
Who'd leave Valley be Indian head pennies?
Why do you reckon Boo Radley's never run off?
Maybe he has nowhere to run off to. For my plan to bring him out, we'll need a box of lemon drops. I'll place one outside his door, then a roll from down the street. When he thinks it's safe, he'll come out to pick him up, one by one. Then onto another, he'll follow like an ant. Then another, then another, then another.
That's a lot of lemon drops.
Ooh, fun, sir.
You've been the subject of considerable conversation.
What would Aunt Rachel say?
Well, she began on the heading of his folks must be out of their minds worrying. And she ended on, reckon he could stay the night anyway.
Hear that, Scout?
But I thought I'd better call your parents. So I called them too.
What'd they say?
They couldn't have been more agreeable. They said you could stay as long as you weren't in the way.
I see.
Great! Isn't that great?
Sure it is. Guess they were looking all over Meridian for me.
No, they thought you were probably stuck at some picture show.
Generally, they'd be right too.
We'll be going through a difficult time, Dill. It'll be
mean?
good having you with us.
Do you mean?
It'll be good having you here. There's a cot in Jim's room.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Atticus,
More company. Come on up, Heck.
rather speak down here?
Oh,
What is it?
only 2 reasons why grown men speak in the front yard. Death or politics. Which is it, Heck?
Could be a little of both, Mr. Finch.
We'd better talk. Maybe you two can go give Calpurnia a hand.
I want to know what's happening.
You'll give Calpurnia a hand. Dill?
Don't get any ideas, you can boss me too.
They have business.
They took Tom Robinson to the county jail this afternoon. I don't look for trouble, but I can't guarantee there won't be any.
Don't be foolish, Heck. This is Maycomb.
I'm just uneasy, that's all.
The trial will start sometime next week. You can keep him till then, can't you? I don't think anybody would begrudge me a client with times as hard.
It's just that old serum bunch. You know how they do when they get shinnied up?
They drank it.
Could be. I don't know why you touched this case. You've got everything to lose.
Do you really think so?
Yes, I do, Atticus. I mean, everything.
Heck, that boy might be going to the chair, but he's not going until the truth's told.
Okay, Mr. Finch.
And you know as well as I do what the truth is.
I just thought I should keep you informed.
I appreciate it, Heck.
Sure. Well, take care of yourself.
Thank you. Don't worry. Well, son,
I told her I'd work on her flowers and try to make them grow back. I said I was sorry, but I'm not.
There's no need in saying sorry if you aren't.
How about what she said?
She's sick, and she's old. I've got work.
Atticus, she wants me to read to her for 2 hours every day. Do I have to?
You do.
Her house is so dark and creepy. Shadows on the ceiling.
That'll appeal to your imagination. Just pretend you're in the Radley house.
He's sure in a peculiar mood. What's Heck want?
Death in politics.
Don't be silly. They just moved Tom Robinson to the Macomb jail.
Mrs. DuBose wants me to read aloud. Think I'll read Ivanhoe. Why would she want me to read to her?
Seemed like your father wasn't surprised.
Why wouldn't he be?
Ask him.
Ask me what?
Nothing, sir.
You folks will be in bed by the time I get back, so I'll say goodnight now.
Where are you going?
Out.
What are you doing with the chair and the light?
I might have use for them. You mind Calpurnia. Take care of things, Cal.
Do my best, Mr. Finch.
Where's he going?
I could make a guess. Only I won't. You get washed, all three of you.
I really need a wash.
Why wouldn't she guess?
Before I go to bed, I think I'll go look around town for a while.
You got a case of the look-arounds?
I may come look around too.
What are you talking about?
Thanks for stopping by, Stephanie.
Best view in town. First Atticus goes by with a chair and a light, and then 3 children follow him. Can't imagine where they
My
must be.
guess is the jailhouse. The jail is Macomb's only conversation piece. Its detractors say it looks like a Victorian privy.
And its supporters say it gives the town a good, solid, respectable look. And no strangers would ever guess it's full of niggers.
Go home, Stephanie.
The cake was heavenly.
A lad in front of the jailhouse.
There he is.
Well, let's go.
No, Scout.
Maybe we shouldn't bother him right now. But it's pretty late.
He's all right. I just wanted to see where he was.
After all this run around town, we're not You can't hear me.
No, Scout. Listen.
It's cars. A lot of cars coming.
We'll get down and watch from here.
So many.
What's happening?
We'll find out.
Hey in there, Mr. Finch.
He is, and he's asleep. Don't wake him up.
You know what we want, Mr. Finch. Now step aside from that door.
You can turn around and go home again, Mr. Cunningham.
Won't do that.
Might as well. Heck Tate's around here somewhere.
The hell he is.
Check Tate's bunch is so deep in the woods, they won't be out till morning.
Indeed. Why so?
We got them out there on a snap hunt.
Didn't you think of that, Mr. Finch?
Thought about it, but didn't believe it.
Bet that changes things then, doesn't it?
Oh, yes, it do.
Do you really think so?
He said, do you really think so?
Means he's gonna deal with somebody. I'm gonna
Scout,
go see
wait!
this. Hey, Atticus!
Scout!
Couldn't hold on to her.
Jim, take them and go home. I said go home.
Will you be coming with us?
I'll send him home.
Don't you touch him!
I'm telling you to get out.
That'll do, Scout. Don't kick folks.
But he...
No, Scout.
Nobody gonna do Jim that way.
Get him out of here, Finch.
Give you 15 seconds.
Jim, take them and go. I
I
said
ain't
go.
going.
Get those kids out of here.
Mr. Cunningham, that you? Hey, Mr. Cunningham. Remember me? I'm Scout. You brought us a big bag of turnip greens. Remember?
Scout.
I go to school with your boy Walter. Oh, he's your boy, ain't he? Ain't he, sir? Knew it was your boy. Maybe he told you about me, 'cause I beat him up one time.
Hush in there.
Tell Walter, hey, for me, won't you? My father was telling me about your entailment. He said they're bad. Atticus, I was just saying to Mr. Cunningham the entailments are bad. I remember you said not to worry. It takes long sometimes, but you'd all ride out together. What is it? Can't anybody tell me? What's the matter? Mr. Cunningham!
Ain't nothing the matter, little lady. I'll tell my boy you said hey. We're heading out of here, boys. We're going home. You.
They're going.
Looks that way.
Atticus, can we go home?
Yes. I think we can go home now.
I thought Mr. Cunningham was your friend.
He still is. He's just got his blind spots along with the rest of us.
But he was ready to hurt you.
Because he was a part of a mob, and a mob is made up of people. And Mr. Cunningham is still a man. What you children did, you made him remember that.
Mr. Finch, they gone?
They're gone, Tom. They won't bother you anymore.
Thank you, Mr. Finch.
We're going to have a busy time. Better you get your sleep.
You better get some sleep, too.
That's my intention. Good night, Tom.
Can I carry the chair for you, Mr. Finch?
Why, thank you, son.
I want to go home.
You two certainly don't mind very well.
Atticus, what was it you said we did to Mr. Cunningham?
You made him stand in my shoes for a minute.